Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. Oh God, no, not the Jets. No, 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 no. Oh God, worse, the Giants. Oh no, 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 no. Timeout. No, I don't want no, 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 no. Oh no, I don't want to be part of that New York, New York. So gross. Hey everybody, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic, and we're continuing our NFL recap before the draft, and we're in the NFC East, and we're talking about this yeast of a franchise in the New York Giants, a franchise that I one time respected. And yes, that includes the time with Eli Manning. This is gross. So, the New York Giants is a franchise that I cannot help that they thought Eli Manning was their savior. Eli Manning ended his career at 500. Look it up. He has the same number of victories and the same number of losses. Wow. But he got 2 Super Bowl rings against Tom Brady, so therefore that makes him a superior demigod. And ever since then, the Giants have been, well, I've always viewed New York Giants gets a little bit more respect than the Jets. I don't know what it is, maybe because the Giants have actually been to the playoffs more time and won Super Bowls during the past decade that the Jets have not even gotten close, so that could be a biased nation. But I've actually talked to New York fans, and I've asked that question. That's like one of the few questions I ask first is like, tell me the truth. What are more common, Mets or Yankee fans, Knicks or Nets fans, Islanders or Rangers? Like, I've asked questions, Giants or Jets. I've asked these questions, and almost every time I get the same answer. It's about even. And I'm like, if you don't know, just tell me you don't know. If you don't know, just tell me you don't know. Okay? But New York Giants, it is amazing why I keep having that this year will be better. This year will be better. This year will be better. I thought at least their defense was gonna be better. I mean, they made a trade for Burns. They got a lot of players from the Jets brought over to say New York. Like, I thought the defense, because I thought 2 years ago, that they were a much better defensively. It was just the offense with Daniel Jones was holding them back. And then Barkley went to Philadelphia and won a Super Bowl, so therefore it puts a massive magnifying glass on the Giants front office and basically say, you're the reason! You're the reason! And the thing is that when you see like those behind the scenes camera footage of them talking and how like proudly they like dictate how this organization is gonna run, but when it backfires tremendously into their faces to the point that everyone knows that, yep, dead man walking, they're not walking off the plank, they're just saying, you get one more shot, which I'm just thinking, I don't think they can do it. I don't think the Giants has the resources or the patience to fix what they have. They just signed Jameis Winston, which I thought was a smart move because at the end of the day, at least it'll be entertaining. And then you signed Russell Wilson, which I'm like, and you missed the point. It was supposed to be Winston, not Russell. Okay, I guess we can try this experiment again. I mean, Pittsburgh seemed so thrilled; they were so eager to let him go. So, okay, let's test this out. Let's see if this works. It won't. I think the Winston factor would have made the Giants so much more entertaining that even if you guys end up being a top 10 pick, at least the season will not be just a stressful like, oh my God, this game is so long. What's the score? 6-0. It would have been 40 points, but Winston threw like 10 interceptions. It doesn't matter. At least we got a high scoring game. At least I don't have to feel so bad about watching a 10-3 game. So that's why I'm kind of upset. And with all that, I gave the Giants a potential 8-9 season hopeful because I was oblivious. I was a lie. And they ended up being 3-14. Oh my gosh. New York Jets and the New York Giants were both bad in the same year that I cannot help. How is it to be a football fan and don't root for Buffalo? Like, this is. It's the Jets and the Giants. They play in the same stadium. So you can't even make the argument that, well, they're completely different franchise. I'm like, the guys, they're in the freaking same building. They're right next to each other. How can one be just as bad? It was like, anything you can do bad, I can do worse. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. And it's like, both of you are ugly. Both of you are terrible. The only reason why I'm not upset is because I spent a lot of money season tickets holder, and I'm just hoping that one season before I'm 90 years old, you guys will have at least a 9-win season. So with all that, what's your best game? Week 17 versus Indiana is your best game. I could have put the Seattle game, but I give the Indiana because that game was more of a fan appreciation game than anything else. This game was, to me, a way to say, we know our season sucked. We know. Trust me. We listen to all the radio stations. We know our season sucked. But for you guys, we'll give you one big win. Now, I did address this on my Colts video that this was the Colts' worst game because they still had a chance for the playoff, while the Giants. So technically, you could make the argument this actually the Giants' worst game because they could have had the number one pick, but they didn't. And now there's a good chance the Giants may have screwed themselves out of a player, but I want to say, no, they didn't. The only reason why the Giants will screw themselves out of a top 10 player is if the Giants screw up the top 10 player selection. I do not believe there are still plenty of players in the top 10 that the Giants can pick up that I believe will make a massive impact to the franchise moving in 2025. So this one was more of a fan appreciation. And quite frankly, that's what I think the Giants fans kind of wanted. The people that bought the season tickets all the way to the end. And some people got these tickets probably for Christmas or for the holidays. So this is their one chance to go to MetLife Stadium, watch their favorite team play, and get a win. And therefore they'll be like, hey, at least when I went, they won for me. At least you can have that obnoxious idea. I do it all the time when my team sucks. I go there and be like, well, at least they won for me. And like, that's the first one in 20 years. I don't care they won for me. I feel superior. I am the Yuki Gaba Gaba. So this was the best game for me. For them. Sorry. I see I'm getting a little attached to it here. Now, your worst game. Week 10 versus Carolina. Now, it's kind of a kind of a cheat because this game took place not here. It took place in, I think it was Germany? Yeah, it was in Germany. Now, both teams were bad. Both teams were bad this game. And so this was just more of a pity party to show people in Germany that this is what we call bad football. This is a bad football game. And you can see these two franchises that at one point were considered great to be like, no, they're not anymore. So here you go. It is the worst game really on the fact that it ended with a rookie who was having a great game fumble. And then the Panthers took advantage of it and it led to the field goal. There's a lot of bad games. There's a lot of bad games the Giants have played. I mean, you can pick the Philadelphia game. You can pick the Bengals game in prime time. Steelers, Commanders, Bucks. A lot of bad games. I was almost going to put the Saints game because it was a cheap shot field and it got blocked by a big defensive tackle who basically made a hurdle to make the block. I would have given you that one. But the Panther game, because when the rookie who was having a phenomenal season fumbled, which I'm trying to, let me get this guy his respect. Tracy Jr. Was it Tyler Tracy Jr.? Tyrone Tracy Jr. from Purdue fumbled. It was just it felt more like he was like, well, I'm done. They're going to put me in the doghouse and let me run the ball again. Now, Jones had a great rookie season for a fifth round pick in a running back position. So he had success. But it was just the fact that the fumble and the way the Giant was just like, well, we tried, and there's a lot of bad games. I picked this one because this one had a little bit more emotion. Like, you just felt that there were some players that went to Germany to be like, we're going to at least win in Germany. Why? Because we can't win anywhere else. We're going to win here. And seeing Tracy, I keep calling him Jones. Seeing Tracy Jr. on the sideline, distraught, I was like, that hurt. And it's something that a lot of players sometimes show it on a loss. And even though he's a rookie, and probably by the time he reaches his 5th year, he'll probably will not feel as emotional. But boy, does that hurt. And that's why it's the worst game, because there was actually what's feeling behind the loss. It wasn't a blowout. Worst case, it would have been a win, and he would have gone back home with a victory. And he would have gave the Giant fans, 10 days to enjoy the celebration of the victory, and then before the inevitable defeat of another matchup. So it's the worst game because there was heart in it, something you didn't really see in the other ones. Your MVP goes to Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors, which I realized I just misspelled his name in my files. I heard his name being viewed as pretending should have been picked before Marvin Harrison Jr. And the way the season both went, you're thinking, well, Marvin Harrison had a better quarterback, but his stats didn't, while Malik Neighbors had 4 quarterbacks. Jones, Locke, DeVito, Boyle. And yeah, still got 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 109 receptions, and had 170 targets. So basically, it was him or nobody. And what makes him this guy's an example of a rookie stepping up. He initially was going to wear number 9 as his jersey number, but he was given the honor to wear number 1. I think it was by the family that had the number retired, and he was been given the honor to wear it. And when you wear number 1 in football, especially no matter what position it is, it's basically telling everyone on your team and everyone else you play against is that I am the alpha. I am the one. And Malik Neighbors took it and somehow sprinkled in some humbleness and commitment and proved that he is number 1. And he showed out to it, even though they had a quarterback carousel and he had no idea who was going to be starting what week. Malik Neighbors proved it, and that's why he is my MVP. What are you going to do in the draft? And the draft, with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston at quarterback, I think some of my initial draft picks will go out the window. So we're still going to mention them because I already cemented them in glue, and I don't like undoing glue. So for them, I had Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and Travis Hunter. By the time this is recording, Ward already did his pro day. The biggest thing is that will the Giants get a quarterback after getting Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston? I think all confidently is a no. So the question outcome is going to be Travis Hunter. But let's say the Tennessee Titans draft Cam Ward and the Browns get Travis Hunter. Are the Giants, which I believe, let me double check. I believe they're picking 3rd, correct? You're picking 3rd, okay. So let's say Cam Ward is picked up and Travis Hunter is picked up by the Browns. They're at number 3. What do they do? Abdul Carter is there. Get that defense, set up another fantastic pass rusher. Be kind of funny to have a number 11 of your own going against the Cowboys. Be kind of funny that way. Like I said, the 2 quarterbacks of Winston and Russell just makes it feel like they're not getting a quarterback right now, especially not at number 3. So the whole Shedeur Sanders going to the Giant thing might be out the window, and therefore comes Abdul Carter. Or do they solidify the offensive line with Campbell? Or they get a receiver? Or there's a lot of ors. They get Mason Graham from Michigan, the defensive tackle. So, like I said, all this was made before Winston and Russell were picked up. And yeah, so I had Ward and Shador, but now they're both gone in both draft and potentially, don't need to. So Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, and will they trade it? I don't know. I feel like the Giants might consider trading down to get 2 second-round picks and just get the first round pick like at number 15. What team is willing to trade up to number 3? And how much is a king ransom worth at number 3? There's a lot of questions. No. I was thinking of the Chiefs for some stupid reason because the Chiefs would do something like that. But I'm not going to say that. That'd be kind of funny. It's stupid, but funny. So, but that's the Giants, and that's who I think they'll pick even after this redo mulligan while recording. So that's the Giants. We're going to talk about the Cowboys next. No point to sugarcoat it, because we're going to talk about them because Commanders were successful enough, and quite frankly, they don't deserve to be behind the Cowboys right now. So the Cowboys, the next team up in the NFC East. And until next time, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.